What is up, my AKA Patters? My apologies. One night ago, last night, look, it happens sometimes. You work all day, you work all weekend, you get some of that Sunday fun day vibes raging through your veins. You go out, next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock. So I came back last night, had some energy, but wanted to focus on dropping another video. So I did like a quick haul video. Didn't do any streaming, didn't do any StanUARY. I do apologize. But we're doing it now. We got Spider-Man and his amazing friends. I'm AKA Pat here, another known as Peter A. DeLuca. Let's draw. Let's effing draw. This is one of the ones too where I'm very excited for. Just because I grew up with this cartoon. Like, this was my Spider-Man. This was a part of the contrast. When the Image guys came on board, when they took over the industry, this is the version of everything that they were contrasting against. So, guys, this is as significant as you can imagine when it comes to a young mind forming ideas, and also just like building what some of those expectations are later in life when you still follow those characters and you kind of see those characters emerge into other media and all these other aspects, like like other forms, video games, all of it. So if you're new here, thanks for joining me, thanks for hanging out, appreciate it all. I love it. I love you guys so much. I think we do some great stuff. If you're coming by, drop a comment. If you're watching this on my later streams, as we get people that do, thank you just for sharing yourself, giving me your time, sharing your time. We're growing up. We're growing this network. We're growing this AKA Pat Army, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. And I will say, we are going to shoot for another stream later tonight. We always shoot for 2 in one day. But after this, though, I definitely have to get into dropping a video mode. We got to drop a vid. So, and that vid might be Punisher number 9, if you guys are familiar. So, give me a second. I need to grab something to drink. I will be right back. Got to get some coffee. We got to keep it going. I also got to grab my phone. We are back. We are back. Hey, still worked a full day today, so a lot of times I'm rushing between doors. One door opens, one door closes. Cheers to all of you. Got some nice iced coffee. Yeah, I cannot wait to get into this. I also had to grab my phone because I still need reference. Still need some reference because I want to get some of that animation style here. Like I kind of want to get. I mean, it's going to be wide open. We're not going to be shading. We're not going to be doing anything. I'm just looking for like a good shot of all three of them, like right here. See, like something like this. See, just good shot. Iceman too. I went to school with this kid named Mario, and he had a way of drawing, even to this day. And I don't think I ever tried it. He had a way of drawing Iceman that was perfect. And I'm talking when we were in middle school. I thought it was perfect. So, yeah. I mean, you never know the impressions you're going to leave on someone. So, and I'm already breaking one of the rules because starter here doesn't quite have a collar. I think she does in the comic. But yeah, I was hanging out with, or not really hanging out because I wasn't there for too long, but I was kind of spending time with someone I went to school with a couple weeks ago during a Eagles tailgate, and kind of had to, look, I try when I see people that I really have, it was like maybe 30 years since I saw this one dude, but when I have that much of a gap, I can't just like see them and shake their hand. Like I have to try and talk to them. And I let this kid know. I'm like, dude, like a lot of your like life story I use a lot today for like anecdotes when I talk to young people because this dude he could draw, and I was like just so jealous of like how much better he could draw of me. And so on that end, it was him. And then you get into middle school, and like there's someone else that can draw, like maybe better than him. So now, when it comes to like the pecking order, I'm three people behind. I'm three behind, and it just enrages me like to no end. And I told him, I'm like, dude, I was like, I really think you could have been something like something beyond something, just like kind of like a natural. And he goes, oh, I thought the same about you. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I just feel like I never gave up. And that's like the big difference right now. It's like one person stops and the other person doesn't. And I just feel like there's so much of a life lesson there to the rewards you get when you don't like really succumb to to just like life, how life kind of comes in and just beats you up sometimes. And a lot of people do, like they'll hit adversity one time and they buckle. And that doesn't mean him or anyone that I'm referencing did that. I just mean um they really could have just decided they just want nothing to do with like they could again too, like make a decision like, hey, this is not my path. I don't think it's viable. I think it's a waste of time. That's all right too. But I get that question so much of like, how do I like how did I get good? Like, how did I learn to draw? How did I this and that? And there is no easy answer for that. But part of it, though, is clearly not slowing down, not stopping. Now, we messed up the arm here bad. We messed up a lot here, everyone. I'm going to save the dog for another time. And keep in mind, everyone, we're doing the green background, by the way, with the webbing. We got to put some paneling around it, though. So we will figure that out. Oh, this is too much here. This is too much. Got to fix this right here. Got to fix it. we're almost dealing with just like straight up solid colors here. We're not really, like, we're not doing much more than that, so we're going to stick to it. Maybe, you know, we'll play a little bit with line weights. But, you know, line weights can come later also. Yeah, ho, Troll Heyman, what's up, dude? Troll Heyman, so sorry, I was blacking out there. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, just right. I'm not having a good time working on this Spider-Man and his amazing friends right here. I'm getting really anxious, which is weird because I thought I had it sketched out pretty well. But, you know, we're mimicking, we're trying to ape a lot of that animation style too. So we're trying to keep our forms like wide open. I may blast this with the Crayola markers and then come back with my brush pen and kind of like thicken up some of these lines. But I'm kind of just, I want to get some of the colors down right now. So that's what we're going to do. We're just trying to figure out the forms right now. So, and I'm not really not happy at all. I just, I thought we started good. I'll say that. But then again, you always start good, don't you? Everything always starts at a level that you're somewhat content with, and then you just hate it along the way. I mean, I really butchered her arm here, which is weird because the arm was it was sketched out pretty well. So we got our colors here. So we're going, like, when we lay down the color, it's going to be very much like we did earlier. So, and you want to keep in track. But Troll Heyman, thank you for joining me. Always appreciate it, buddy. It does mean a lot. I know I always say that, but I mean it. So I say it. I have to be somewhat careful with some of these colors here because I used white out. But it's always the principles, like the not the principles, like the foundations. If you have your foundations intact, you can you can mess up a lot. I don't think that sentiment gets repeated enough. Strong foundations create windows to screw up. So this is where building your anatomy, having torque on your figures, showing motion, being dynamic. Part of the body forward, part of the body backward, all of that good stuff. But I guess I'm more into doing the green background with these guys. That's really what I want to work on. And you get like that sometimes. Sometimes you get locked in. You get locked into how you want something to look and what the idea for it is. And it could be a part of the piece that you pretty much just like you want nothing else to do with the other parts of the piece. But you can see here, like we're keeping this very very open, very animation, very cell animated looking, or we're trying to get that feel somewhat. Hate it. Work on it until you don't hate it anymore. That's my motto. So this cartoon, like it's available on Disney Plus. I recommend watching this a few times over, just for the music alone and the music cues, and it really is. It's a good way to understand how, like, it's almost like comparing Spider-Man and his amazing friends to something like DC Super Friends or Superpowers, where Super Friends and Superpowers is a DC team. And that's almost like how DC's rooted, where Marvel is always single characters interacting with other single characters and teams. Yeah, and that's relatively true even through like the Spider-Man series for the 90s. It's a very big through line for the character. I always forget that Firestar has like super red hair. I never seem to remember that point. I feel like we need her hair has like burgundy streaks in it, but we're just going to use like a dark brown on some of it here. To kind of just show a little bit of that body. I have to look into how they handled her fire effect. So we're trying to get at least a level of progress. And it's so funny too how quickly we're repeating colors here, because Spider-Man is going to have the same blue. Iceman might have the same blue as Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man is going to have the same red. So Spider-Man and Firestar, they're going to share the same color. Spider-Man and Iceman are going to share the same color. But that's the stuff you have to be mindful of, because when you're laying out, you know, like the drawing, you're going to have overlaps, and you can't put forms, like you can't put Spider-Man's red hand near Firestar's red hair. Like that's bad execution there.
go home. You're done if that's something you try and get away with.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm trying to. So part of the design for like these prompts, troll, is that Mr. Heyman is I wanted to kind of have like a flow of different textures at least. Like some of it would be flat, some of it would be super shaded, and so on and so forth. Some of them would have insane highlights. Some of them would be very bright. Some of them would be dark. And yeah, again, I will always stress this. Keep in mind that we're working with very cheap materials here. The sketchbook is roughly $5. The markers, the big marker set, I think for these sell for about $40, where you get all the Crayola marker colors. The pencils, again, you can get a pack of them for about $5. So we can just say like roughly like with micron pens, like $60 will get you enough to do some damage. So I may go back over some of this with a colored pencil to just fill in some of the areas as well. Now I drew Iceman with some steam coming off of his head, and technically he never had that in the cartoon. So I'm debating on keeping it. Oh, AO, yeah, Heyman. I have. Where is it? That's Those are for some trading cards I'm dropping soon. These are for Series 2. Series 2 is gonna have everyone in Zubas. I would say overall these are about 3 hours a piece. It's almost like 1 hour prep like getting it, like kind of getting it on the paper, and then it's like an hour with the inks, and it's gonna be like a good hour with the colors. A lot of those are live streamed, like all the way through on uh Instagram, but they're also on the website. So there's an NFL section on my website, and you can access those streams there. Yeah, I get that question a lot too, of like the time it takes, and like you always have to be mindful with uh like you have to know your time frames, and it's one of the things I think I overlooked for far too long, and it wasn't really until I kind of worked for corporate America, we'll call it, kind of the day job type stuff where that stuff kind of like the importance of it resonated with me, like uh like so much that I kind of like everything I do I think about in time, and I make that reference a lot. Like I'm not shy even when uh someone's kind of asking me for a commission or a price for something. Like I'm not shy when I say, look, that's going to take me about 3 hours, but it's also going to cost this much. And they're like, well, that's like, it's only 3 hours. I'm like, yeah, well, like it took me a long time to be able to do that in 3 hours. So you got to pay for that part. I think we're just, I hate to say it because I feel like I say too much, but I feel like we're making progress. His eyes for this show too are so much less hugey than I drew them here. But then again, we want things to be expressive. We're drawing things smaller, so I have to like block off Spider-Man's head a little bit more. All right, let's see here. Yeah, and also, so the next up in that series is going to be a Zuba's William Perry, Zuba's Dane Marino. So it's going to be a lot of guys from that era. So and then so it's kind of like guys that made like a Mongo McMichael or Kevin James, right from WCW. I might do them, and then the quarterback. I always forget his name from the movie The Program, and draw him in Zubas.
You know what? He's not as, but he's not as defined. Like Iceman doesn't have. He doesn't have. Well, I guess he is a little bit more defined than the other two. But definitely here, it's like we have to block off some of his areas for the, I guess, like reflection effect, the see-through effect. I don't know how we're going to define it, to be honest. Right, because they were kind of like, you give a lot of this early stuff a lot of credit for the attempts of the effects of some of these characters, like how they could have existed. So we're just going to fade. I wanted to fade some of these guys into green, but here we're going to leave Firestar a little bit wide open there. Yeah, and that's a little bit of like the power. It's just always work on things that interest you. That should look along the way. You may want to draw things that get social media attention. That's fine too. But even with that, it's like even now, like I'm doing so much stuff with Black Panther. And a lot of it's because it just interests me. Like there's a lot of, like just the visual part of a lot of the Black Panther stuff. It's just interesting. It's effing fun. It's fun to think about. It's fun to like all of it. So why not? Like, oh, that's way too dark. And that should always be the task of the artist. Like, it's really about handling your assignment. Your assignment, like, who cares? Like, if someone is contracting you to do something, like, you should really never care, because your job's to draw. And I think that's a little unpopular today. I think that sentiment has faded. I think everything's like principle right now, and like it doesn't mean right or wrong. It just really kind of means, like, what type of artist are you? And for me, I will always be like, I'm more curious about the challenge of doing something than, like, I'll say the politics of it. But a lot of my Black Panther work is just straight up curiosity. And it's just fun. Like, it's fun kind of even when these things get popular, when they kind of, again, hit the culture or the lexicon. It's fun to take part of it and just try and nail something that you see a lot of people like kind of maybe stumble at or fail at. Like, there's a side of me that's like, oh, maybe I should do a bootleg version of like a bootleg Wakanda Forever comic book, like a film adaptation, and just fix that story. Fix that story. Be a little bit more aggressive with Namor. Not make it R-rated, but definitely crank up the violence part. Hell, maybe make it R-rated. I take that back already. Okay, so I'm like kind of okay with this. I'm like just straight up okay with this. I'm not super happy though. All right, so like some of the blacks I'm okay with. I'm going back and forth like a freaking maniac here about these eyes, about these Spider-Man eyes. Like absolutely too much back and forth. Like I'm bringing them in, I'm pulling them out. It's too much. Oh wow, yeah. Look, keep in mind the J. Lee Namor. That was John Byrne's book. John Byrne wrote and segued into J. Lee, and there is a shift in that book. Like there was a look. I'm not going to spoil anything. A lot of setup. Scott Collins is the artist, and I was actually playing a little bit of a video on this, even though I know it's not going to get a lot of traction. But Scott Collins came in and ate and did a Jay Lee between Jay Lee's issues, because he was Jay Lee was inconsistent from the very start. People forget that. But I wanted to highlight Scott Collins doing a Jay Lee before Scott Collins kind of blew up in comics. But that's awesome. Yeah, and the Bloodstrike stuff is just legendary at this point. It's kind of funny too, because growing up, that Namor stuff got so much more heat than the Bloodstrike stuff, and like the Namor books were the ones that were supposed to like live on in history, and it kind of it flipped because just the baseline visuals of what Bloodstrike was, and it's hard to deny Bloodstrike, picking up. It really is. Because Bloodstrike is just there. Like Bloodstrike's just too good. Yeah, I'm just kind of like just at this point just over doodling parts of this. Yeah, Troll. Yeah, that's a little bit of like again, like that's a lot of the era. So with the John Romita Senior stuff, I really went into like a deep dive just to do this right here. This is a John Romita Senior page because like we opened up with like the Steve Ditko Spider-Man, which was the face for that is so freaking tough. And then we did John Romita, we did Todd McFarlane, and then we kind of went into the interpretations or the iterations, like the black costume, 2099, Captain Universe, Spider Hulk, Metal Spider-Man, and Spider Punk. And now we're doing like the media stuff. So I think the next Spider-Man is going to be Spider-Man 90s cartoon series. So I don't know, but yeah, let me get going. We have comic book artwork to do, so I will be updating on social media with some of that work. Rock and roll, Troll Heyman. Love you, buddy. Thanks.